Never cried at the end. During my time with Darren, my family helped me out quite a bit after I couldn't cope, basically. Like, my mum started feeding it. I don't think I was a good father because, or I don't think I had patience when I was looking after Declan, because I just couldn't handle him crying constantly and stuff like that. Having to feed him for 40 minutes at a time, and that's longer than an episode of EastEnders, isn't it? Yeah, I think being a younger dad is more difficult than I would be in like 10 years time, because I've not really any money now. I'd need to completely rely on my parents basically for support. There's not much support out there, I don't think, for young dads. Yeah, I do think that increasingly dads are under pressure to provide care for their children. Stereotypes dads not really being with the children, I think, are fading, and they're forced or expected to look after them more and more. If I found that I was going to be a dad tomorrow, it wouldn't be a good day, I don't think. Like, because it means the rest of my young life would be ended, really. Like, you wouldn't be able to go out and socialise much. You'd be tied to the baby all the time. Obviously I wouldn't get a real one, but I'm just going to leave it, because there's no getting anywhere with it. I've changed its nappy, I've bucked it, I've fed it, I've comforted it, nothing works. So I'm just going to leave it here. There's absolutely no point in this. Well, there is a point. Like, it just shows you how hard it is to look after a baby. It's actually really hard on the throat, even though I've got a wee brother. It's 10 times harder on my throat. This wee fella. Oh! Slip of the finger, that's it. This experience has made me rethink what it's like to be a young dad. Before it, I thought it'd actually be alright if I was, but now, after that experience, I definitely do not want to be a young dad. It's just so much, like, stress and responsibility and time. It's put me off.
Before I was a dad, I was at college. I studied to be an auto electrician for 2 years. Used to go out probably about every week, sometimes twice a week. Used to have loads of money, but I had your nice trainers and all that. That's probably what I remember the most about being a dad then, before I was a dad. Well, actually, I went to school with my girlfriend, and then after school, we didn't see each other for probably about a year. Then I met her in a local nightclub, and lived happily ever after, blah blah blah. We were probably together for about 8 and 9 months before she got pregnant. The only reaction I had really was a wee bit of worry. No as to financially or anything like that, or whether me and Melissa was like secure. It was more towards whether I'd be a good dad. I was worried about that, like whether I could pull it off basically. The way we told the parents was, I told my mum, I just sat her down and says, "Mum, I've got something to tell you," and she says, "Oh, Melissa's pregnant." I went, "Oh, aye, you're right, fair enough." And that was easy enough. Her mum didn't take it quite as well. She gave basically all the angles that you could take, all the good ones and the bad ones. which resulted in my girlfriend in tears. When I told my friends, it was a mixed reaction. A lot of them said like, "Oh no, you're too young and you'll never manage." But a lot of them were quite kind of supportive, and they just says, "Aye, you'll be a good dad." You'll laugh. And then the worst thing was like, when we really need to settle down. Like, you can't just walk out in your job from now on. You've got to think about other people before yourself. You can't just. Pregnancy for me was quite irritating. It was full of mood swings and cravings, food for cravings. It was like, at stupid times, she'd want like a Chinese meal in the afternoon. It's not open, so there's not much you can do about it. You've kind of got to go to that store and get a microwave one or something for her. Or it was quite funny though, a lot of it. Birth was strange. It was something that I'd never seen before, and I never imagined it to be quite as brutal. I always thought it would be quite kind of, I mean, you see them on the TV, you know, the real squeezing, but until you're actually seeing that expression on somebody's face, you don't really think it looks as sore. And she got an easy birth. It was a fairly kind of easy birth in the way that when she was getting the contractions, at first she didn't actually realise it was just showing up on the monitor, and but she wasn't really feeling it. But later on, it got a lot stronger, and then she was really going through a lot of pain at that time. And then she got the epidural, and then when she actually had the baby, and she ripped. So I didn't get to cut the cord or anything. They just kind of passed the baby to Melissa. She had a wee cuddle, and then about 30 seconds later it was, "What the dad, right, you hold that now and I'll sort this out." And then they kind of stitched up all the bleeding bits, and there was a lot of blood everywhere, and it wasn't very pretty anyway. It was funny to see the baby because you've held other people's babies before, and it was just different holding your own, because it was like, she's your own. It's like you play with somebody else's dog, but when you've got your own, it's your own dog, and you've got to think, "Oh, I've got to feed this." If it starts whining, you've got to think, "Oh, why is it whining?" If somebody else's baby starts greeting, you're like, "Oh, your baby's greeting, by the way." I expected a lot of sleepless nights, and expected a lot of crying and loads and loads of dirty nappies, but I didn't get that bad when it came to dirty nappies. I normally find something to do when it comes to the really dirty ones. It wasn't actually that bad. He was quite a good sleeper, and then she dealt with it most. Well, her life changed dramatically. Like, just wee things you take for granted, like you need a new pair of trainers, you go and get a new pair of trainers with your wage. Now it's like, you need a new pair of trainers, but you've got to wait because the Wayne needs a new pair of trainers first, and his feet grow faster than yours, so you don't want to squash his toes or anything like that. Work, like I said before, you could quit at any time. Now if you don't like your job, you just got to stick it until you get another one. Money is always tight now. You've never got enough money for everything that you need's done. There's always something coming up. Birthdays, Easter. Before, like, birthdays and Christmases, you were getting the presents. Now you've got to dish out the presents to other people. I think if I wasn't a part of the baby's life, I'd be really annoyed, especially if I knew that he was there and he was mine. Knowing what I know he's like now, I really would want to be with him. But I think it would be different if you didn't know. If you didn't know what it was like to be a dad, I think it'd be a lot easier just to kind of forget about it. But I think if you compare the two, it's a lot better to be a part of it. The best parts of being a dad are just the wee things he does. Comes up, and then you think he's going to give you a kiss, but he gives you a wee bite instead. Although it's sore, it's still quite cute. But just the wee things like that. When he kicks a ball towards you, you just know that he wants you to play with him. You might be knackered, whole 6 hours in at work or 12 hours in at work, and then you come home, he wants you to run about the living room and dance to the tweenies. But if we didn't have our own house, I think it would be a lot different, because first of all, you'd have to choose whose parents do you stay with. Do you stay with her mum or your mum? If I stayed with her mum, she's got 2 sisters, and it'd be a whole load of women in one house. There wouldn't be any in your own space at all. You'd always be yeah, there's always be someone somewhere. There'd be no, you'd be able to just go and have a bath and just peace and quiet. There'd always be someone else kicking about. You wouldn't get any time of day in yourself. You'd always have somebody breathing down your neck telling you how to do things, the way mums do. I mean, the day that they do, I can imagine 24/7. That'd just be round the bend. Well, hopefully I'll get a better job, a lot more money, because I've got two now coming along, so I need a wee bit more money. So if I get a better job, get a bigger house, and it should be alright. Just carry on with the way things have been. Get married maybe early next year.
I think dad number 4 would be a good dad because he looks like he is a very kind man and who would help children do the things they're stuck on.
I think number 7 because it looks quite friendly and young, so he'd know like all the different things that were happening.
Number 8, because he looks happy and he'd let you off with your homework.
I think dad number 7 would be a good dad because he looks younger and he would do like, it looks like he would do like younger things with you instead of like dad number 5 looks a bit older, so he would maybe do older things.
Dad number 7, because he looks that he would love you and all that, and he would care for you and take you places and not strict.
I think number 5 would be a strict dad because he looks dead, I don't know, just looks dead strict.
Dad 5, because he's like he's moaning a wee bit, and he's like kind of bad, like kind bad. Number 5, because he looks dead mean.
Dad number 1 because all the rest of them are like smiling, but he's kind of got a grumpy look on.
Dad number 5, because he looks strong.
Number 2 because he looks dead smiling, dead fun.
Dad number 7 because he looks cool and he looks quite fun.
Number 7 again, because he looks like energetic and everything.
Dad number 4, because he looks like he's hyper. He looks like he's just a dad that'd be hyper with you. Dad number 7 would do that because he looks like a very kind man and that he doesn't really care about those kind of things.
I think Dad number 4 because he looks like dead young and he knows what's like he's done it as well.
Number 9, because he doesn't look as angry as any other.
Dad number 4, because he looks like he's laid back and stuff like that.
Dad number 4, because I don't know, he just looks like when he was a child he might have got up to mischief and stuff because his big smile.
Dad number 1, because he looks smart and he looks very kind to people when he is speaking to people.
Dad number 8 looks quite smart.
Dad number 1, because he looks just like a dad that would like help you if you were stuck in your homework and stuff.
I think Dad number 6 would tell you a good story because he looks like his head's full of adventures and he has lots of good stories.
I think number 6 because again he looks dead happy and friendly and smiley.
Number 4, because he looks very kind.
I'd say maybe Dad number 5 again because he looks older and know all the older stories because I like hearing older stories.
Dad number 8 looks like he has kids because he looks very happy.
Number 5 and number 6. Because it does seem dead like grown up and maturing.
Number 2, because they look as if